The Honda Rebel 1100 is outshining Harley-Davidson in the places that matter most to real riders. It's lighter by a wide margin, easier to ride in slow traffic, more comfortable for aging knees and hips, and powered by one of Honda's most reliable engines. Riders who spent 20 or 30 years on Harleys are coming back from test rides saying the same thing. This thing just rides better. In this video, we're breaking down exactly why the Rebel 1100 is outperforming Harley on real-world roads. And make sure you watch till the end, because the last advantage is something Harley riders feel immediately: the Rebel identity. From the moment Honda first rolled out the Rebel name, it carried a quiet kind of confidence. Riders in the early years saw it as a machine that did not demand attention, but earned respect through honesty. The original Rebel spoke to those who wanted something straightforward, a motorcycle that did not pretend to be anything more than a simple companion for long stretches of open road or short daily loops. It became part of a generation's entry into riding, not because it dazzled, but because it made the idea of owning a motorcycle feel grounded and reachable. As the years passed, that reputation stayed with it. The Rebel became a symbol of self-reliance for riders who valued machines that could be understood in a garage without pages of explanation. It was the kind of motorcycle that families passed down, sometimes skipping decades, yet carrying the same meaning. When Honda revived the name, they were not chasing nostalgia for its own sake. They were restoring a promise. They aimed to reclaim a spirit built on mechanical clarity and the kind of integrity that older riders believed was fading from modern design. The new Rebel line was shaped as a reminder that motorcycles can still feel honest in a world overflowing with complication. The Africa Twin connection. Long before the modern Rebel took shape, Honda had been refining a family of engines built for endurance and broad usefulness. The power plant that would later find its way into this machine did not begin as a cruiser concept. It came from a lineage known for tackling rough terrain, unpredictable weather, and long stretches of demanding travel. In that environment, durability was more than a design goal, it was a requirement. The engine's roots traced back to a platform trusted by riders who ventured far from paved roads and needed machinery that could accept punishment without complaint. Honda understood that carrying this lineage into a new platform offered an advantage beyond familiarity. Reusing a proven heart meant skipping years of expensive trial and error. It meant drawing from a library of parts, castings, and internal behavior patterns already shaped by countless testing hours. When a company chooses to anchor a new motorcycle to an existing engine family, it is rarely about convenience. It is about certainty. It is about knowing the mechanical character before the first prototype is even assembled. Honda did not need to reinvent the internal core. More would emerge. If you're getting value from this breakdown, take a moment to like the video and hit subscribe so you never miss the next deep dive. Share your thoughts in the comments, especially if you've seen these changes firsthand. Your voice shapes every discussion here. Honda's weight philosophy. Honda has long taken pride in building machines that reflect thoughtful engineering rather than unnecessary bulk. When the newest Rebel was conceived, designers were challenged to rethink how mass influences the overall structure of a cruiser. They looked at component placement, frame layout, and manufacturing methods that could reduce excess without compromising structural integrity. This approach did not come from a desire to chase trends. It came from a philosophy rooted in efficiency, where every bracket, weld, and tube placement served a clear purpose. Instead of allowing the motorcycle to inherit the traditional heft of many cruisers, Honda examined where weight naturally accumulates during development. They considered the metals used, the shape of supporting elements, and the flow of forces along the frame. Each adjustment aimed at keeping the design honest and purposeful. Engineers wanted a machine that reflected the idea that less mass can still carry the same spirit when executed correctly. Material selection played a central role in this direction. Honda's team evaluated strength to weight ratios and how certain alloys responded to long-term use. The process became a study in balancing durability with restraint, ensuring the motorcycle felt cohesive in its construction rather than excessive. This was not minimalism for appearance, it was discipline in mechanical form. That discipline opened the door for a fresh interpretation of what this motorcycle could represent next. More details would soon take shape here. Before we move on, take a second to check the description. Your gears and accessories are waiting there. DCT's purpose. When Honda first explored the idea of creating a dual-clutch transmission for motorcycles, it was not treated as a novelty. It was approached as a long-term investment in how shifting technology could evolve within the motorcycling world. Early development focused on building a system that could manage its internal processes with precision, even under varying operating demands. Engineers wanted a mechanism that could repeat its functions with the same consistency year after year, regardless of how the motorcycle was used. This required extensive testing, a deep understanding of mechanical timing, and a commitment to refining each internal sequence. The goal was never to remove the rider from the experience. The goal was to create an alternative pathway for those who preferred a different relationship with their machine. Honda understood that some riders approach shifting as part of the craft, while others see it as an obstacle on long days in the saddle. By studying these patterns, they identified a market segment that valued a transmission system offering predictable sequencing without additional physical input. This group included commuters, long-distance travelers, and riders who simply wanted a simpler interface with the motorcycle's power delivery system. Over time, Honda shaped the technology into a format capable of serving many categories without compromising its mechanical identity. This approach became part of a broader strategy to provide riders with multiple choices inside the same model line, a new kind of rider. The motorcycle world has shifted in ways that would have seemed unlikely 20 years ago. Buyers walking into dealerships today are not driven by the same motivations that defined earlier generations. Many of them arrived from practical backgrounds shaped by long commutes, rising expenses, and a desire for machines that can serve more than one purpose. The weekend-only rider has not disappeared, but the industry now sees a strong blend of individuals who want motorcycles that fit into everyday routines. This shift has been shaped by economic pressure more than trends, pushing many buyers to look for machines that deliver broad utility instead of narrow specialization. Younger riders entering the hobby bring expectations formed by years of exposure to multi-purpose tools and adaptable technology. They grew up comparing features, weighing long-term commitments, and evaluating products based on functionality rather than emotional attachment. The result is a buyer who views a motorcycle not as a single-use machine, but as something that must adapt to changing needs, from short weekday tasks to longer weekend travel. Manufacturers have followed these signals closely, adjusting their product lines to reflect the priorities of these new customers. This growing segment has influenced the types of motorcycles that succeed on showroom floors. A machine that can meet a wide range of demands now stands a better chance of earning long-term loyalty. Manufacturers have begun shaping their offerings around this understanding, recognizing that rider expectations today hinge on flexibility. With this new buyer profile forming the baseline, a clear picture begins to emerge of how the rest of the market must respond next. Harley's price wall. Across the industry, dealership conversations reflect a shared concern about rising price points. Many brands have faced cost increases, but Harley-Davidson dealers feel the pressure more sharply due to the premium nature of their lineup. Over the past several years, sticker prices have climbed beyond what many traditional customers are comfortable with. These shifts have placed dealers in the difficult position of balancing brand identity with financials, realities on the showroom floor. When a motorcycle crosses a certain price threshold, even loyal buyers begin reassessing what they truly need. Dealers report that higher monthly payments and increased operating expenses are creating barriers that older customers did not face decades ago. Some longtime riders still want to support the brand they grew up with, yet they hesitate when faced with escalating costs that accompany many of Harley's current models. This hesitation does not come from disinterest, it comes from practicality. In a market where economic caution influences buying decisions, rising prices can slow sales even for an established name. The challenge is magnified by broader financial pressures. Living costs have increased across the board, and discretionary spending has tightened in many households. Dealers have noted that more shoppers walk in, take a long look, ask questions, and leave without committing. These patterns signal a growing divide between the motorcycles riders want and the price tags attached to them. As this gap continues to widen, manufacturers must adapt their strategies. The industry is watching closely because the next shift will influence how all major brands approach their product lines moving forward. The feature expectation gap. Modern riders evaluate motorcycles through a different lens than earlier generations. Instead of treating added features as luxuries, many now consider them part of a standard package. This expectation has grown as technology has become more common across every category of consumer goods, from trucks to appliances. Riders have grown accustomed to a baseline of convenience tools, rider assist systems, and adaptable controls. When they walk into a dealership, they expect these elements to be present without having to climb far up the price ladder. This shift has created a new kind of pressure within the motorcycle market. Brands that offered minimal features for decades now face demands for broader equipment options. Riders want machines that feel complete when purchased, rather than platforms requiring immediate investment in additional components. Even those who embrace simplicity still want reassurance that the machine has enough capability to keep pace with modern expectations. Manufacturers must strike a balance between clarity of purpose and meeting this new standard of completeness. This evolution also affects loyalty. Riders who once stuck with a brand because of familiarity now pay closer attention to which companies provide features that address their current needs. If a manufacturer fails to adapt, customers can shift their interest elsewhere more quickly than before. With so many choices available, loyalty is sustained only when the product aligns with what today's riders consider essential. These changing expectations set the stage for a deeper challenge that emerges when timing and adaptation fall out of alignment. Harley's timing misfire. Timing has always played a decisive role in motorcycle development. Releasing the right model at the right moment can transform a company's trajectory, while delays can create long stretches of uncertainty. Harley-Davidson has faced several cycles where production schedules and market expectations drifted apart. When the industry began shifting toward versatile models with broader appeal, Harley's lineup continued to focus on long-standing categories that did not match the emerging demand curve. This created a window where competitors introduced new designs, just as riders were looking for different solutions. Model development cadence became another stress point. Updating older platforms takes time, and releasing entirely new ones requires even more. While rivals moved quickly to refresh their offerings, Harley's cycles were slower. This allowed alternative manufacturers to occupy market space before Harley presented their response. Dealers noted that riders were asking questions about motorcycles the company did not yet offer, creating a mismatch between the showroom and buyer expectations. This mismatch was not caused by lack of effort, but by timing, misaligned with market evolution. By the time Harley adjusted course, competitors had already secured attention from riders seeking a broader range of choices. When momentum shifts this way, regaining it requires significant investment and precise strategy, both of which take time to materialize. As the market continues evolving, every manufacturer watches these timing lessons closely. What happens next across the industry will depend on how well each brand reads the shifting patterns ahead. Rider confidence. For many riders, returning to motorcycling after years away from the saddle, mindset plays a larger role than most people admit. The modern Rebel creates a surprising sense of psychological ease, not because of any physical trait, but because its overall presence feels unintimidating. Riders often describe an immediate sense that the motorcycle will not overwhelm them. That reaction begins before the engine ever turns over. The proportions, the stance, and the straightforward layout present a machine that feels approachable on a mental level. Riders who once questioned whether they still belonged on two wheels find themselves stepping closer without hesitation. This is especially true for those who once rode decades earlier and now wonder whether the sport has moved beyond them. The simple, direct, visual language of the Rebel reduces that tension. Instead of signaling complexity or high stakes, it gives off an impression of clarity. Many returning riders report that the motorcycle feels like an invitation rather than a test. That kind of mental entry point can shape the entire experience, giving people the confidence to take the next step. For those who stopped riding due to long breaks, life changes, or shifting priorities, this renewed sense of psychological grounding matters. It removes the barrier of doubt that often keeps people off the road entirely. With that mental door open, they can focus on rediscovering the enjoyment they once knew. And once that happens, another aspect of the machine begins to reveal itself. If you want more straight talk about the shifts shaping today's motorcycle world, make sure you subscribe before you head out. This channel brings the stories, leaks, and industry truth other places avoid. Stay connected and be the first to hear what comes next. Highway character. When a motorcycle settles into long-distance travel, it reveals its underlying attitude. Some machines feel restless during extended stretches, while others develop a steady presence that shapes the ride. The Rebel expresses a personality on the highway that surprises many riders. It does not demand constant attention or create the sense of strain that some associate with covering distance. Instead, its behavior encourages a calm approach to the open road, allowing the rider to settle into the rhythm of travel without distraction. Interstate routes expose the true nature of any machine. The long lines, the steady pace, and the extended intervals between decisions reveal how a motorcycle holds its character under sustained conditions. The Rebel maintains a composed personality during these stretches, creating a sense of consistency that riders appreciate. It does not shift into unpredictability or sudden changes in behavior. This steady attitude becomes apparent hour after hour, creating an experience shaped by continuity rather than interruption. Sustained open road travel can either drain riders or help them reconnect with the road in a deeper way. The Rebel's highway demeanor leans toward the latter. Riders report a sense of being able to focus on the horizon, the air, and the long pull of the journey, rather than on the machine beneath them. This quality becomes clearer the more miles pass behind the rider. With the open road explored, attention eventually turns to the other half of modern riding life: the urban advantage. Cities present a different set of challenges for motorcycles. Constant stops, unpredictable movement around traffic, and tight spaces create a world governed by awareness and tolerance for quick changes. The Rebel behaves in a manner that city riders appreciate not for how it performs, but for how it behaves under these conditions. Its responses feel measured and predictable in the midst of crowded streets. That sense of grounded behavior helps riders navigate dense environments without unnecessary distraction. Heat distribution becomes another consideration in stop-and-go settings. In heavy traffic, machines with poor thermal management can quickly turn a short ride into an uncomfortable experience. The Rebel shows an ability to regulate its heat patterns in a way that prevents sudden spikes during slow movement. This does not reference performance. It reflects the practical manner in which the machine handles trapped airflow. Riders who commute daily or frequently encounter city congestion notice this trait because it reduces one of the common irritations of urban travel. Low-speed behavior also plays a role in how a motorcycle fits into city life. During tight cornering, short transitions, or creeping through traffic, the Rebel maintains a steady demeanor. It does not jerk or lurch in ways that demand excessive correction. This measured approach becomes part of the machine's practicality. Urban riders value predictable behavior because it allows them to blend into the flow of the city rather than fight against it. Inclusive riding. One of the most significant developments surrounding the modern Rebel is the way it offers access to riders who might have believed their time on a motorcycle had ended. Many individuals face physical limitations due to age, injuries, or medical conditions that make traditional shifting a challenge. The Rebel's availability with a dual-clutch transmission provides an option that bypasses these concerns entirely. For riders who previously set motorcycles aside for health-related reasons, this system becomes a path back into a world they thought they had lost. Aging riders often reflect on earlier decades when riding was central to their identity. As time passes, certain physical tasks become harder, and many assume that motorcycling no longer fits into their capabilities. The automated nature of the dual-clutch transmission offers a solution that respects their experience while reducing the demands placed on their bodies. It allows them to reconnect with a part of life that holds personal meaning without forcing them into uncomfortable adjustments. The feeling of returning to the road after believing it was no longer possible creates a profound emotional moment for many individuals. The same applies to riders recovering from injuries. Some find shifting painful or difficult due to joint limitations, muscle strain, or reduced mobility. The dual-clutch system presents an alternative that does not require compromise or specialized modification. It transforms the idea of accessibility from something rare and expensive into something built into the machine itself. This shift expands the riding community and ensures that more people can experience the road regardless of physical challenges. With accessibility established, the broader implications begin to surface. Rival brand responses. Across the motorcycle world, major manufacturers are watching recent developments closely. Yamaha, Kawasaki, and Triumph each recognize that shifts in consumer interest can influence entire segments of the market. These companies have long histories of adapting to new expectations, and they understand that maintaining relevance often requires refreshing their strategies before demand forces abrupt changes. Yamaha's approach has traditionally centered on balancing sport-oriented engineering with dependable versatility. If they see riders gravitating toward adaptable models, they may expand offerings that bridge categories rather than remain fixed within strict definitions. Kawasaki, known for its willingness to experiment across multiple segments, may interpret current market signals as encouragement to pursue new hybrids of existing platforms. They have often built motorcycles that defy simple classification, and this moment presents another opportunity to refine models that appeal to riders wanting broader capability. Triumph, grounded in heritage yet increasingly modern in execution, might respond through subtle but meaningful adjustments in design direction. They tend to evolve rather than pivot sharply, so the next few years may reveal refined interpretations of their existing lines rather than dramatic departures. Each brand senses that the market is entering a period where versatility and adaptability may shape future success. These ripple effects extend beyond any single model and into the strategic planning of entire companies. As manufacturers refine their projections, the next shift becomes clear. Dealership adjustments. Dealerships across the country have begun rethinking how they structure their inventory. Instead of relying on large quantities of models that appeal to narrow audiences, many are leaning toward a balanced stock that offers broader appeal. This adjustment helps them meet changing customer expectations without overextending themselves on any single category. Sales teams are reporting that customers now ask more pointed questions about everyday practicality, long-term ownership realities, and the purpose behind certain design choices. These questions influence how many units dealers choose to bring in and which models earn preferential placement on the floor. Dealership training is shifting. Staff must understand each motorcycle's purpose, not just its specifications. Buyers want clearer explanations of design intent, and well-prepared teams create more productive conversations, helping customers make informed choices and improving overall satisfaction long after the sale is complete. New patterns are also emerging in how dealerships track interest. Many have begun monitoring what customers research before arriving, noting which models consistently appear in early conversations. This helps dealers predict which trends may become lasting rather than temporary. By adjusting their stocking strategies accordingly, they maintain a flexible position in a shifting market. With these changes taking shape on sales floors nationwide, another layer of influence starts to emerge: policy and insurance forces. Beyond the showroom and manufacturing floor, regulatory and insurance forces quietly shape the direction of motorcycle development. Policymakers across various regions have introduced new frameworks intended to address safety, emissions, and urban planning concerns. These frameworks influence how manufacturers design engines, electronics, and structural elements, even if those influences are not immediately visible to riders. Companies must remain aware of upcoming changes to ensure that their motorcycles remain compliant across multiple markets. Insurance companies quietly shape motorcycle development. Their risk models influence yearly rider costs. And when emerging data shifts classifications, manufacturers respond. Higher rates tied to certain categories push companies to adjust future designs, subtly steering the evolution of product lines. These forces often operate in the background, but their impact is undeniable. Manufacturers engage with regulators and insurers to understand how upcoming policies may affect production cycles. As these quiet influences guide the direction of the industry, they shape decisions that riders may not recognize until new models arrive. With these considerations in place, attention turns to the broader meaning behind these shifts for the riding community. The cultural moment. The American riding culture has always balanced heritage with reinvention. Each era introduces its own version of what motorcycling represents, shaped by changing landscapes, aspirations, and practical realities. Today's moment reflects a blend of tradition and transition. Riders still value the feeling of freedom that motorcycles offer, but they also recognize that the world around them has shifted. New technologies, new expectations, and new interpretations of what a motorcycle should be all influence the culture in ways that can feel unfamiliar yet meaningful. Motorcycling still revolves around authenticity. Riders look for machines that reflect who they are, whether shaped by memory, exploration, or personal expression. As manufacturers explore new directions, the culture widens rather than fragments. Some cling to familiar styles, while others welcome fresh interpretations. The true meaning lies in recognizing how past and future shape the experience. This moment marks a turning point where tradition and innovation move forward together without losing the spirit of American riding. That's the real story behind why the Honda Rebel 1100 is catching so many Harley riders off guard. Whether you agree with it, fight it, or you've seen it happening at your local dealership, your voice matters here. Drop your take in the comments. What are you seeing on the road? If you got value from this breakdown, hit like so more riders find it, and subscribe for the next deep dive dealers don't want to talk about.